Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural, I'll say, experimental episode of News Shooting Self-Defense, or NSSD, featuring Paul Gordon and
Dimitri.
Just Dimitri?
That's it.
That's it.
Like Madonna.
You just
Dimitri.
He's the one named celebrity that's not a celebrity on Gun Talk Radio.
I'm the anti-celebrity.
He's the Gun Talk Radio superhero that never was. So, well, let's talk a little bit before we get started here to give folks a little lowdown of what our show is going to be about. It's going to be a weekly show. It's going to be audio. Although we're working on possibly making it video as well for this issue episode.
At the moment, we can't afford all the makeup to cover up the ugly.
He's looking at himself because he ain't looking over at gorgeous over here. The hotness over here doesn't have no problem. Hotness don't need no makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we spent all the money on the audio.
Yeah. So if this audio sucks. What we're going to do is we're going to try to focus on how guns are being used to enable people to exercise their fundamental, I don't like using the word right, because a right, the way we use it now, it kind of implies it's like some sort of thing that's granted to you. It's our innate nature, our natural condition to want to defend ourselves. It's who we are. So when an entity interferes with that instinct for self-defense, they're basically violating natural law. Well, you look like you were going to say something. You were leaning into your microphone. You had this like profound look like dude.
It's a basic necessity, really, of life to be able to defend yourself.
Exactly. And in this day and age, there are many ways that you can defend yourself, but I think that you would agree with me and say that for the common man who has a certain amount of income, as most of us do, which is not making millions of dollars, that a gun is by far the most effective platform to be able to defend yourself with, right?
Correct. Unless you can afford, like you said, with lots of money, a crew that's going to be, hovering around you and your family.
Or you can buy yourself a missile. I actually belong. I can't remember the name of the group now. It's terrible. I belong to a Facebook group, and it's basically advocating for private ownership of nuclear weapons. Yes! You're with me on that, right?
No.
Yeah, you are. You know what? I don't want to hear it.
No,
it's a fundamental right to self-defense.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's kind of like if you say, listen, if you can afford to have a nuclear weapon, great. More power to you, literally.
Yeah, but the people who can afford that are kind of whack jobs. Think about it.
Really?
Think about who can afford to own
Bill Gates could afford to get a nuclear missile.
Wackadoodle who stole all his ideas from his friends. That's who you want.
That's how, aren't most rich people that ripped off other people and exploited the poor and don't deserve their wealth? I think that, oh wait, no, I'm not a progressive. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, neither am I, but in certain circumstances you got to call it for what it is. And the guy is shady. And I wouldn't trust him with a nuke because he is a hardcore.
So you and
lefty.
we're the right to bear nukes. It's called Bear Nukes, BEAR, Bear Nukes. And look for it on Facebook. It's a private group, but if you request, I bet you. The dude that runs it is James Weeks. And you remember who James Weeks is? One of my personal heroes, James Weeks.
Congratulations, you have a hero.
Yeah, he's the dude that totally brought male stripping back to politics.
Wow, that's so. When you think of libertarians, you think of male strippers.
Well, you should.
And wackadoodles.
Well, you should. It's better to think of male strippers than Gary Johnson. I'm serious. Or Governor Bill Weld. Gary baked the damn cake, and Bill, maybe the Second Amendment isn't all that useful. Weld. Yeah, I'd rather. Come on, James. Any day now. I'd rather have some James Weeks doing some nude dancing than That's far more indicative of the true libertarian spirit than freaking Bill Weld.
Is this what our show is going to be like?
It's
just
not really
rambling on about stuff.
You got me started.
I didn't. You got yourself started.
You actually got me started.
Yeah.
So the show is basically about guns and how guns are a symbol, a use, and a tool for human beings to be able to provide for self-defense. So we're going to highlight stories that show how guns are used effectively, how guns are not used effectively, and how Mr. Government Man...
I was going to say the political arena enters into...
How Mr. Government Man makes a little forays and somehow has this fundamental, I won't say lack of knowledge, because I think they perfectly know exactly what they're doing. I'll say a lack of respect. So you want to get to the first story here? Let's just do this and get to the first story here. The first ever story.
Let's do this.
So this is Massachusetts Attorney General bans sale of all new assault weapons as of today. Today is...
Wait, but he's banning all fully automatic weapons in Massachusetts?
That's what you would think, but no. It's all semi-automatic sport rifles.
Oh.
So those would be like your ARs and your AKs and all the cool guns. The ones...
Modern sporting arms.
So this is from the Boston Globe, and I'll just read this section here. The Massachusetts assault weapons ban mirrors the federal ban Congress allowed to expire in 2004. It prohibits the sale of specific weapons like the Colt AR-15, blah, blah. But gun manufacturers have taken upon themselves to define what a quote-unquote copy or quote-unquote duplicate weapon is.
You know, for me, the most exciting thing I could listen to on like a podcast or something is somebody reading something. That is like hot. That's
That's hot.
This
you were going to say
Snoozeville.
that's hot. You looked at me and you were going to say that's hot.
You
were going to refer to something that I was doing as hot.
Dude, I'm falling.
And you were looking at me. And you were seriously looking at me when you said it.
Dude, that's.
I actually feel a little uncomfortable right now for you. For the millions of fans that are listening to you try to resist telling me I'm hot. Dude, I feel very awkward for you.
Something happened in your childhood that really messed you up, boy.
Something happened in my childhood that made me awesome, and that's why you're about ready to say that I'm hot, and you're I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I'm a married man. You are married? You're married, right?
Dude, again, you are straying from the subject.
Let's talk about marriage.
Are you trying to make this interesting?
So it's
by reading and talking about...
Well, we're talking about these stories. That's kind of what we do here.
Thank you.
We're actually going to read stories and then talk about them.
Focus.
So they market state-compliant copycat versions of their assault weapons to Massachusetts buyers. So what they're calling copies and duplicates, it's a semi-automatic rifle. It's not, as you said, an automatic rifle. What's really interesting now is, so the Attorney General is going to unilaterally decide this. There's no law that's been passed in Massachusetts.
He's redefining what an assault rifle is. He's redefining what fully, a fully automatic rifle is typically an assault rifle or a machine gun. And what he's doing is he's assigning that terminology to semi-autos that look similar.
But don't have the same functionality whatsoever.
Correct.
He's not going to be...
I mean, are the people in Massachusetts...
Is the SKS on this list, for instance? I bet you the SKS is not on this list.
Oh, I bet you it is.
You think so?
Oh, without question.
So they have two tests to determine what constitutes a copy or duplicate of a prohibited weapon. If a gun's operating system is essentially the same as that of a banned weapon. Okay, it's not essentially the same. It's radically different. Or if the gun has components that are interchangeable with those of a banned weapon. So
if you have a trigger on a double-barrel shotgun, and then you have a trigger on an assault rifle. Dude, double barrels, it's got 2 barrels. What do you need with 2? All you need is 1. 2 is redundant. It's an assault shotgun.
Right. Now, this article is saying that the AG does have the authority to make this determination. It was litigated by the pro-gun group Gull some 12 years ago. Oh my gosh, Dimitri, don't fall asleep on me. This is important information. Going by what I'm reading here, this new directive immediately bans the sale of all new AR and AK style rifles. He doesn't like facts and useful knowledge. Hey, we're going to want to talk about Bigfoot? You want to talk about Bigfoot. He's a Bigfoot fan. So.
Do you know what this is in reference to? This is like Three Stooges. Like
what's in reference to? I don't know.
Beep, beep, beep.
Is this Curly or Mo or is it Curly? Which one is it?
It is when they sleep.
Should we talk about the Three Stooges now? Is this kind of wandering off the topic?
A little bit.
Yeah.
They didn't have assault rifles ever in the Three Stooges, did they?
I bet you they did. No, I don't know. I bet you they had some.
They had references to World War II. I remember episodes with Hitler, and although they think they called him Shitler.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe you did this. I can't believe that you
because
went down the path.
What you're reading is Snoozeville.
This is important information. This is what we're talking about. How are we going to talk about this if the readers don't know what we're talking about?
Maybe we need to reenact stuff.
Oh, you want to reenact it? Hi, I'm the Attorney General of Massachusetts.
They don't talk
and
like
I'm going to redefine what an assault weapon is so I can ban you from getting a sporting rifle. And they say, we're going to do this. I'm going to go down to the end of the freaking
you're talking
article.
like some dude from Oklahoma, not Massachusetts.
Whatever. It doesn't, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Jerk. All you had to do is...
Facts matter.
Yes, they do. But yet you don't want to hear the facts.
Come on, hurry. Can you read fast at least?
No, I cannot.
You suck.
So they end it with basically saying that they're doing all of this
for the children.
For our safety.
For the children.
So this all goes to a point that I always like to say, which is there is no rule of law. There is only rule of power. And whatever loophole, legalese that these guys want to do, and you can darn well bet that they're going to get sued immediately, and we'll see what the court says. At the end of the freaking day, the real issue of this law is this. Are you going to follow it? Apparently all these gun stores are going to. They're already taking down their rifles. They're sporter rifles. They're sporting rifles.
What would happen if all those... stores would say, yeah, you know what, we're just going to keep selling these guns.
Well, they should. Well, I won't say they should. It's an easy call for me.
I'm just saying, what would happen? Would everybody be arrested?
Would they take away all their licenses? That's probably what they would do. They would take away their licenses.
So I'm still going to sell guns. Come get me. What happens when you have people in complete revolt like that?
Well,
who are ignoring the law?
The gun owners have not ignored it. They're complying. Now the question, and they did say, by the way, if you have these guns already, you can keep them. You just can't buy any new ones. Wow, black market. Yeah, dude, wait. You know what? Dude, you know what you and I should do? We should go and just go ahead. No, I'm not. Never mind. I would never do that. I would never do that.
Don't say that on the air.
Let me give you a scenario which is not me and not you, because you and I are decent people and we respect the law. America. You just need to go and buy yourself some ARs and some AKs and SKSs and head on up to Massachusetts land and make yourself a killing, because that's what they just did.
He didn't say killing. He did.
Monetary killing.
Yes, thank
monetary killing. Come on, I think everybody knows that. Even the NSA is listening. They're listening to this right now, and they're like, dude, we know what he meant. Stop being.
Yeah, we know what he meant, and we're going to twist his words.
So, what do you say we go to the next story? Are you ready to go to the next story, or you have more to say about this? Are you ready to go to the next story?
Well, I thought you were going to, talk on and on about the same thing.
Well, we could go back to the Three Stooges, because I know you're obsessed with them. Yes, exactly. Are you ready to go to the next story?
I am, and I'm not.
Okay.
Well, this is, you can keep your black rifles, because we know that you didn't know about this law. So, hey, no one was enforcing this law, and you bought it not knowing that you were breaking the law. That's not really a law, because in every other state, it's not seen as a law. But Massachusetts is interpreting that law and its extension. I mean, it's making shit up.
Well, that's
this
the
guy's,
bottom line. That goes back to rule of law, rule of power.
Right. He has the power, and he's making it up. He's making up the rules
and he
as
thinks
he's going.
he has the political will in Massachusetts
Correct.
that he can get away with.
But this is my concern. Today they're going to say, well, you can keep yours. Don't worry about it. We're not going to come after anybody.
Well, they will. They obviously will.
That's the next step.
Of course.
The next step is in a year or two, they're going to be like, you know what? After the next thing that kicks off, they're going to say, oh, you know what? This guy had gotten his before the ban, and we need to just collect all of those now. Sooner or later, it's going to get to that.
Yes, because they will. They're never satisfied. They always want more. There's a giant hole in their heart.
No,
a hole in their heart that they want to fill with power, and it's a hole that can never be filled.
Yeah, and the way that you gain more power is you take that power away from others, and by removing people's ability to defend themselves and keeping them scared in perpetuity.
In perpetuity, yes.
Oh, that was a tough word for me. Perpetuity.
Yeah, you got it out. It's yeah. The Hooked on Phonics is working. I'm telling you, you guys got to try it. I tried it on my Dimitri, and it's working. This he's making strides.
Me vocabulary. Better and better.
Yeah.
Gooder and better and gooder.
Gooder and better and gooder.
Yes. So it's scary. It's scary. How much is this guy going to get away with? And who's going to shut him down? Certainly not the communists who run that state, because they're terribly hungry for power.
Well, I am going to go to the next story now.
Okay.
Because the next story is going to show you
that you can read.
No, I'm not reading. Actually, I'm
having paraphrasing
the words actually psychedelically beamed into my mind by the Three Stooges. Yes. There we go. This is from WFAA, and this is on the other side of the world, politically and geographically. A new potential law created by Texas Governor Greg Abbott would bring stronger penalties for crimes against law enforcement officers. It would be called, euphemistically, the Police Protection Act. And it would make any crime committed against any police officer out of bias against police be labeled a hate crime. You want to say something here before I continue?
No, please go on.
Are you sure?
Well, if you pronounce WFAA in a particular way, it's WFAA.
What the... No, we're not doing that.
Go ahead.
Under the act, assaulting a law enforcement officer would become a second-degree felony. It's currently a third-degree felony. Governor Abbott will try and get the act passed during next year's legislative session. And I'm going to read it in my hope. See, I'm not trying to sound like Greg Abbott. I'm trying to sound like the hokey-doke derp that all politicians are. At a time when law enforcement officers increasingly come under assault, simply because of the job that they hold, Texas must send a resolute message that the state will stand by the men and women who serve and protect our communities. By communities, he means the coffers of the coercive enterprise.
Is this guy a neocon or a communist?
Have you heard of the Horshoe?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Horshoe is?
Yeah, of course. But
what's the Horshoe? Yeah. I'm calling you out.
The extreme right and the extreme left are pretty much the same thing. But
okay, good.
They meet. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude,
I'm surprised that you knew that, actually.
That's like junior high school stuff. Come on.
I'm really surprised he knew that.
All right.
Seriously, folks.
So, wait.
There's a guy that's obsessed with Bigfoot, so. Anyway, go ahead with your Greg Abbott story. Is he a communist or is he a neocon?
That was the question. Why did you
the
have to go?
answer was Horshoe. The Horshoe was the quick answer.
He's a neocon, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's a neocon.
He's a big state conservative.
Yeah,
he's a progressive conservative.
Right. Remember, we're all and folks. I won't go into a long tirade here, but suffice to say, we are in Wilson's hive. Wilson designed this hive back in 1913. He put all the necessary elements in place. With the creation of the federal income tax, the Federal Reserve, and removing the legislatures from voting on Senate seats. This is important. Oh, you're doing the B thing. Yes. So every single politician that ever talks, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they're all in Wilson's hive. They start with an assumption of progressivism. And this perfectly illustrates it, doesn't it?
Wait, what'd you say? What was that last part?
Do you know, I'm just going to give you
buzzing.
a random fact about my life. Do you know that I'm a concealed carrier?
Congratulations. I thought you were going to say...
I always conceal carry.
Good. You know, I thought...
Right now. Are you going to go back to trying to call me hot again?
No. I was just going to point out that you shared with me earlier that you turn your underwear inside out. It gives you more life before you have to wash it.
Yeah, why be cruel to your wife? Why be cruel to your wife and make her do so much laundry?
I thought that's what you were going to share because we were just talking about that.
I'm not ashamed of that.
No, I didn't.
I'm not ashamed at all. You do the same thing. You do the same thing. You're the one who gave me the idea.
Dude, you're an inside. Dude, you're an inside outer.
So are you. You gave me the idea.
Inside outer.
Folks, I learned this story. I learned this from him. He was so burdened with one of his wives.
One of my wives. I'm Mormon, by the way.
Right. He's only Mormon in a very small sense of he's not a fully practicing Mormon. He only practices in that one aspect of Mormonism.
How do you know that?
You've told me this, and plus the cameras.
Was I drunk at the time? Because I don't remember.
Plus the surveillance cameras.
Okay.
Before I'm going to co-host a show with anyone, I make sure that I. Oh, okay, Horshoe. You want to get back to the Horshoe now?
Well, I'd like to get back to the subject because you
interjected the underwear. Oh my gosh!
Well, I thought we were sharing, not underwear.
No,
dude, that was
dude. Again, first you say I'm hot, then you want to share my underwear. What the heck,
dude?
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
dude.
You got to say.
I think
that.
I can make a tent out of your underwear.
Really?
I don't think it would fit.
A very tiny tent. Very tiny tent. Well, no, actually, never mind. I stand corrected. Oh, you win this round, Dimitri. You win this round.
Can you please stay focused?
Dude, you introduced the underwear.
Horshoe.
Why don't we get back to the Horshoe and the Hive?
Horshoe.
Maybe that's the title of this story, the Horshoe and the Hive.
I'm the special effects dude.
I actually think that's the title of this show, Horshoe and the Hive. What do you think?
Dude, rock on.
Dude, I'm rocking on with my bad self. So go ahead. We're back to the Horshoe.
So the dude's a neocon who wants to protect police. You know, I have a fundamental problem with someone who attacks an individual, any individual who is now part of a quote-unquote minority. And then the punishment for that person's murder is different than the punishment for any other person's murder. Whether it's a cop or someone who's trans, anything, or someone who's part of a racial or ethnic minority, that's an issue with me. And this is just an extension of that.
How so?
We are creating special groups.
Special classes, right.
Yeah.
And
castes.
So now the police are... And I would say the most dangerous group that you'd want to put into a special class are the police.
I'm not sure that is the one. I would say politicians.
He is talking about passing legislation that will essentially doing something against a cop. If you did it because they were a cop, okay, that's pretty broad. Who gets to define that? If you did it because you were a cop, that's going to be called a hate crime, which means that you'll get more stuff added on to you.
Dude,
more penalties.
In the end, it doesn't really matter. If there's a political will to come after you, to destroy you, they'll use the laws in any way they want to do that. So it's irrelevant. Law is irrelevant. Power is what's relevant.
Absolutely, but
if you're a powerful individual and you punch a cop in the face because the cop was being a douche, chances are not much is going to happen to you. If you're low-hanging fruit and you punch a cop in the face, yeah, you're going to have the entire weight of the state coming down on you.
Laws are important to monitor. They're important to look at from the standpoint of gauging the balance of power. Now, they don't always accurately reflect the balance of power, but more often than not they do. The balance of power between the governed and the governing. In this case, Greg Abbott is betting that he has enough power, the governed have enough power to introduce a new tool that'll allow them to more efficiently target those that they want to target without significant repercussions from the governed. So when I look at that, I would say, well, now, it's not always true, because sometimes you pass laws and they end up blowing up in your face. So sometimes you reach too far. So I'm not sure whether that's the case here. But I look on amongst my conservative friends, and I have to see the constant parade of American flags that are now black and white with that little blue stripe. They are worshiping the very people who will be sent out to take away their guns. And if you dare say anything to that effect, what you'll get back from them is, you're a commie, you should leave the country, boys in blue, protect us. You get hate, you get bile.
So if something should go down like Katrina, where the police are going house to house with the National Guard standing behind them, and they say, we want your guns, and you say, you dirty such and such.
You dirty rat.
Well, then you're a cop hater. So now...
Yeah, you're an anti-American cop hater.
Well, no, now you're a cop hater. Now you're... Are you open
it's a hate crime.
Thank you.
Exactly. This is exactly my
point.
And
if the cop pushes himself into your house and you shoot him, now it's a hate crime.
How about the cop knocks on your door and he's like, I want to come into your house. Do you got a warrant? I don't need a warrant. The cop starts pushing you, and you push that cop back. Guess what? It's a hate crime. You pushed him because he's a cop. And how often are you going to say something out of anger? When a cop pushes you, you say something like, you pig, or whatever pejorative you could think of. Now it's a hate crime. So if this law passes in Texas, the police, the problem that we're having in America today is they're passing more and more legislation in which there's more legislation, there's more regulations, there are more taxes, there are more fines, there are more fees, and it's the cops who are sent out to collect. So they're interacting with us way more than they did before. People are starting to feel the reality that they're not as free as they thought they were. They're getting a bit chafed at it. They're starting to act out. The cops are acting out in return. This viciousness is just getting more and more amplified, and of course the media is helping stir the flames, and all the other various groups are helping to stir the flames. And now you want to pass legislation in which you're going to create this untouchable superclass. But you're not going to do a darn thing to change the reality that cops are always going to be sent out for every little thing. That cops are, they're looking for new schemes to catch you breaking that red light. They're looking for new schemes in New York City recently. They have cops that are patrolling the neighborhoods, looking through people's trash to catch them violating recycling. And then you're going to pass these hate crime laws. Good luck. Good luck with where that's going.
Well, there's going to be more strife.
Yeah, it's going to get more vicious.
The more that caste sees itself as special and protected, the more it's going to abuse its power, the more people will respond to that power abuse.
So I want to switch gears. I want to switch to the next story here. And this is from a publication that's within the Newswatch Volunteer family, of which this show is part of that. And this is from the Lehigh Valley Volunteer.
Dude, you forgot the name?
It's the domain name is Lehigh Volunteer.
Did you have like a couple beers before we started?
No, unfortunately. And I looked at my refrigerator before you got here, because usually we have a couple beers afterwards.
And here is the
one freaking beer.
The studio.
We're in the studio right now.
Yeah, we're in this high-rise building.
Yeah, overlooking the world, and I didn't have my butler.
Yeah,
get me the beers.
Dude, should I call up to your mom? Maybe she can get us a couple.
That's cold, man. Mom! That's cold.
Dear.
Oh my gosh! So now you're my mom.
Are you in the basement?
You think this is such a traumatic episode for me?
Having fun in the basement?
Seriously. Now you got my dog started. So, listen, you got him barking. That's my doggy. Please stop that. So you think of this episode, okay? You tried to hold back from the fact that you think I'm hot. You made an offer to share your underwear with me, and now you're pretending to be my mom. What kind of therapy do you think I'm going to need?
You're going to need a lot because your interpretation of the events is horribly twisted.
It's not. It's
horribly
accurate.
twisted.
It's totally accurate. Anybody listening, and if you have a different opinion, you can write to us at NSSD@stateofwake.com and let us know. Or you can write Dimitri at stateofwake.com, or Paul, that's me, Paul, at stateofwake.com. So this article is interesting, and I'm not going to read you all the details of this. I'll give you the real cliff notes for most of it.
More reading? Seriously?
I wrote this.
Can't you play like an audio clip of some dude?
Dude, I wrote this.
Oh, you wrote this.
So shut up.
So can't you play us an audio clip of you reading your stuff?
What would be the difference? I don't get that.
It'd be more interesting.
Okay, it would be more interesting. Just so you knew that I pressed a button instead of you had to sit here and watch my lips move. You just don't want to watch my lips move, do you? So this is a man was dropping off his son at a house where his ex-wife was with another man, and he had a hermit crab for his son. There was a conflict. They got into a verbal argument. The guy was sitting in his car, and the man whose house he came to, he pulled out a gun, and he shot a warning shot into his car tire. Don't know the full details, but in general, I think that you and I, we'll get into this, but we would, in general, don't do warning shots, man. If you're going to pull out your gun, pull it out to shoot. And if you're not ready to shoot, don't pull your damn gun out.
Dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. But be that as it may, the judge said, Judge McFadden, and I want to make sure, F.P. Kimberly McFadden, giant Stady Von State Face tool, said in the trial, this is why people in this country are afraid to move. You can't move in this country without someone pulling a gun. Now, all the other MSM folks in this area, I'm not going to call them out.
I've done a lot of moving, and no one's ever pulled a gun on me.
I'm moving right now, and no one's pulling a gun on me. I think you're kind of thinking about it, though. Kind of entertaining.
I was thinking of a different kind of movement. But,
wow. I don't want to interpret that, but it could be another thing to add to the
list.
Therapist list.
Yes, of course.
Exactly. But here you have this judge who's there to basically decide whether this dude broke the law, not to add her 2 cents about guns. And all of the MSM picked up this quote by her. No one called her out on it. Now, of course, I did. I called her out, and I said exactly what the judge was referring to was not specified. However, gun violence overall has been steadily declining since the 90s, with the overwhelming majority of gun violence occurring in major urban centers like Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. And then I offered a nice little chart that showed that. But all the MSM all went lockstep with this narrative, which is a demonizing of people with guns. That's what this is. It's a demonizing of people with guns. Now, is this going to be challenged? I think that for me, if I'm the lawyer, I'm challenging this because this is a clear bias being shown here.
Yeah, but that's assuming the lawyer isn't a progressive too, who
it's a public defendant. So what do you think?
Of course, and I can't make too many comments here. I've got too many friends and family members who are in law.
Oh, really?
Oh, dear God.
Oh, you come from a law family? This is new information for me. I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now. You should feel very uncomfortable as I feel about the fact that you think I'm hot, which is weird. I feel more uncomfortable about this. It's strange. You don't strike me as the coming from a law family kind of guy.
Lots of friends and family who are lawyers.
And what can you tell me about their political makeup? Being very in general.
It's pretty diverse actually. But they toe the line.
Are there public defenders in that group?
Yeah, and they toe the line.
So they're
because
order
they
followers.
they know that they have a job to do, and they know what the overwhelming political leanings of the judiciary. Judiciary, yes.
Judiciary. It's dictionary and judiciary combined. Yeah.
Yes, that's where you look up
That's
judicious
where you look up
words.
judicious words.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And by judicious, we don't mean Jewish. We mean dishes.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah,
You're
we
not
mean-
allowed to say the word the J word on
Jew
Yeah, you
dishes.
can. That's racist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like you can't say black. Oh, I said it. I'm sorry. You can't say Chinese. Ooh, dang it, man.
No, you can
Screwing
say
up.
Chinese. You can't say Chinaman,
Or chink in your armor.
dude.
Chink in your armor.
Dude,
Chink in. I got a chink in my. That would
you
have
got
been
a chink in your armor already.
That could have been a Groucho Marx line. Last night I woke up with a chink in my armor. How I got in there, I'll never know. Oh, that's inappropriate.
It is totally.
It's inappropriate.
Dude.
I mean, he said he shot an elephant in his pajamas. And
What was
that
an
was
elephant
funny.
doing wearing pajamas?
that's what he said.
Oh,
That's the joke. Last night I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How I got in my pajamas, I'll never know. And then, I changed it. See, I'm clever. You're slow and I'm clever. See, that's cleverness over here.
I would admit, turning your underwear inside out is very clever.
I'm
To get a
glad you
couple
thought
more
of it.
days,
You know what? I
get a
take
couple
it
more-
back. You are a little clever because
Yeah.
you came up with that idea and you did it and you were successful. And so I followed your lead because I'm a follower. That's what I do.
Apparently.
I follow. Exactly. I follow.
So, back to the story. The judge obviously has a bias.
Yeah. An anti-gun judge.
Right, and so she's not really looking at this guy objectively. She's bringing her own, I don't want to say life experience, but her own political affiliations.
Right.
And
She's not
leanings.
deciding on the letter of the law.
Right.
She's
So-
deciding on her feels.
Yeah. So there's an issue here, and if the defense attorney was worth his weight in salt,
Probably not.
he would.
I didn't carry this in my story, but I did see he was quoted numerous sources that said he said of the defendant that he just made a stupid decision. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances.
I bet you if that defendant was O.J. Simpson when he had money,
then
he
it would
would've
have
gotten
been
off.
It would have been totally different.
but he is the equivalent of O.J. Simpson without money, and now he's in jail.
He's in jail. He's
Yeah.
jail. He's in jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
money gets you freedom.
And money is power. Power, there is no rule of law. There's only a rule of power. But be that as it may, let's go on to the next story, because this story I think we beat into the ground. I think the big focus that I wanted from this story was just that the anti-gun rhetoric is so
Pervasive?
pervasive, good word, yes, that judges are now feeling the need to interject anti-gun rhetoric. And like good little state media that they are, all the local media outlets carried that quote, unquestioningly carried that quote. I hope my phone doesn't die, man. So, the last story here that we're going to do today. The last story that we're going to do here today. He just showed me something very strange on his phone. It was a picture of, actually it was a picture of me in the bathroom. And
You are messed.
really wondering how he got that picture.
You
Dude, what
are
is up with that?
messed up.
Did you hire someone to get that? I mean, should I have my house security scanned right now? My skyrise.
You need some professional help. Does this all stem back to the dude in the park? Is that where this?
The dude in the park?
Yeah.
You wanted me to I think I did tell you a story about the dude in the park.
No, that's a.
Do you want me to tell you the story of the dude in the park?
That's a Cosmo Kramer reference when he was arrested for being the serial killer.
Oh,
and the cop
I
goes up to
actually
him.
have a dude in the
Yeah,
park story.
everybody has a dude in the park story, because when the cop goes up to Kramer, he goes, "How did you know?" He goes, "Well, before he said, 'How did you know?' he said, there's also the cop says to him, 'We need to talk about the guy in the park.'" And Kramer goes, "How did you know about the guy in the park?"
So let me get this
Everybody
out
has
here
a
because
kind
my
of-
phone's about ready to die. I want to get this said before I lose my phone. This is a story that I actually wrote in State of Wake, stateofwake.com, in which little thing that we like to call Newswake, we like to truthify the news and we scrutinize how the news covers things. And NBC was lamenting. The headlines is, Congress fails to expand government power, including taking more guns. NBC News laments. So now I want to focus on the gun part. NBC News is upset, and they said that perhaps most upsetting for the state news media outlet was the failure by Congress to encroach even further on restricting the fundamental human nature of self-defense through gun control. They use this term. This is the exact term that they use. Calls by Democrats for modest curbs on gun sales went unheeded. And I'm going to ask you, do you remember what some of those modest curbs on gun sales included that the Republicans didn't get through?
Nope.
You don't. You don't remember no fly, no buy?
No, there's a joke there, but I'm going to let it go.
Go ahead. No fly,
Next
no
one.
bly. You know, no fly.
Dude, you're such a racist. Go
I
ahead.
know. I'm drinking again. I'm back on the sauce. I'm back on. Actually, in this case, it's just tomato sauce.
No fly, no buy.
No fly. If you're on the no fly list, you don't get to buy guns. Remember that?
Jace.
That is the modest reform that they're referring. That's one of the modest reforms.
Jace.
that they're referring
And how many people are on this no-fly list?
Like 2 million?
No.
Something?
Is it really? No, it
Well,
can't
no.
be.
There's the no-fly list, and then there is the other. It's not just no fly, no buy. Is if I say bly, you know what? I'm just going to stick with it. No fly, no. It's now no fly.
No.
It's
No
now,
fly, no bly.
It's now no fi, no
No
bly.
fi.
It's now
No
no
fi, no
fi,
bly,
no bly.
man.
Yeah.
No fly, no bly.
This, whether you're on the no-fly list or the terror watch list, the no-fly list is a few thousand. I don't remember the exact number, but the terror watch list is like a couple million. And so the Democrats were pushing for legislation to prevent people from this. This is the modest reform to curb gun sales. This is part of
The
it.
only problem I have with those two things is that
Only?
there's no real what's the word I'm looking for?
Accountability?
That's a good one. Yeah. There's no accountability for these lists. It's administrators saying, hey, you know what? That guy's kind of creepy.
It's called a
put him on
star
list."
chamber.
Oh, who dat?
Star chamber is something that, well, it was widely.
Sounds so nice. A star chamber.
Yes, a star chamber.
Oh, that's lovely.
So it was used in England during the Reformation. It was used in other places, but where it was, I think where the phrase really took hold is during the Reformation, they had these star chambers to determine whether or not you should be licensed to operate and distribute the contents from a printing press. Because a printing press was the assault rifle of the 1500s. So they had these star chambers that got together and they put people on lists and decided who's on, who's off, who gets to have a license, who doesn't get to have a license. There was no accountability. That's your start. That's where it originally came from. Then it's come to mean basically any type of secret meeting that decides the fate of someone, especially in a legal sense. And that's essentially what they're going to do, what they wanted to do here. That was the modest reform, and that is the language that NBC used. And this is an article that was presenting itself as straight news. Pushing...
There is no straight news.
No, there isn't. And I'm not saying that you can ever be 100% straight news, but certainly you can definitely interject a whole lot less political editorializing than you do. And the way that they do it subtly. They don't say, in my opinion, this. It's they use. I mean, I run a newspaper and another one, and I've been in the news business for a while, and I've never used in any place that I've run. I've never used the AP style, and I'll never use the AP style because the AP style is loaded with political garbage. It's not about And I understand. When you're in the news, you come to if you have a whole bunch of people writing for your site, you want to have certain uniformity about you. Like if you're going to say the time, AM, PM, how are you going to list it? These are a lot of things that AP style covers. But AP style also covers things like you can't call them illegal aliens. So the AP style is you never refer to them as illegal aliens. This is important information. I'm dropping knowledge on you, man. I'm lifting you up. I'm lifting you out of the ghetto of non-awareness is what I'm doing.
That's racist. You're choking on your words, I see.
My throat is suddenly drying out on me, and this is why I'm glad I got the water.
You know why? Because you talk too much.
It's guilt.
We need special effects, dude. And we need commercials.
We're going to have all that. We will have
because
an
with those things,
we'll have commercials.
Dude,
we'll have all that stuff.
That's going to be hot. Not you.
I'm thinking
that's going to be hot.
I'm thinking that he's in his mind he's saying that's, and in his head out loud he's saying that's, and in his mind he's saying Paul.
Yeah,
it's very inappropriate.
Are you homophobic?
No, I'm not. I'm just.
You're very uncomfortable all of a sudden.
It's weird when your friend thinks you're hot.
Dude,
it's just weird,
What happened in the park with that dude? Come on.
You want to know the story?
Yeah.
Because we got through the last story, we're kind of at the end of the show.
Because I think that'll illuminate.
It's a good way to end the show?
No, it's probably a horrible way to end the show, but.
Okay.
I think the audience deserves an explanation.
So I was about 9 or 10 years old.
It's always around that age, yeah.
Usually, yep. And I went to an amusement park. And I was there. My mom took me, and I wasn't there with any other kids. I didn't know anybody there, so I was all alone. And I was just wandering through the park, and this kid befriended me. And he's like, dude, what's up? I'll take care of things. I'll help you out. And we're riding the rides, having a good time. I really like this dude. He's like maybe a year or two older, a couple years older than me, taller than me, definitely a couple years older than me. Of course, he's definitely a couple of years older than me. And I was short for my age, so there was a big size difference. And I'm having a great time with him. And he says, dude, I want to go show you something. Come out back here. It's always that, isn't it? And then he proceeded to Rochambeau me. He cocked back his leg, and he kicked me in the nuts as hard as he could. And I dropped like a stone, and my mom happened to be coming around the corner right at that moment in time. And
Rochambeau? What the hell does that mean?
You have a Rochambeau. You get a contest like kick each other in the balls. So go on. And
that's news to me. I never knew that.
Yeah, you don't watch South Park. South Park had a whole thing on it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's okay. But that's my park story. I was, and it's kind of like the government. The government. They'll take care of you. They'll give you free, quote unquote, free education and health care. And when the moment comes, they're gonna say, "Dude, come back here. I got the better stuff for you." And then they're gonna kick you in the balls. And you just better hope your mom comes by at that moment in time, because if she doesn't, I don't know what else that kid would have done. Good reason to conceal carry, although I was only 9 or 10, so wouldn't have helped me back then. So there you go. Do you feel good now? Do you feel better about yourself now that you've gotten this traumatizing story out of me? Now that you've wounded me in front of the millions and millions of fans that are listening?
Did you soil your shorts that day? And did you have to turn them inside out? Is that where this starts?
I did not soil my shorts.
Is that where this starts?
I did not do that. That is actually, no, it started actually 3 months ago when you suggested, you're like, dude, I've been doing this thing. And you showed me this video, very disturbing video.
It's on YouTube. Look it up.
Yes.
It's all on YouTube.
It's all on YouTube,
dude,
man.
I bet you if you looked it up, there's
somebody's out there making the case. People laugh about this, but there's some truth to what they say.
Hey, man, you can save the world because you're going to not use soap and water.
Yeah.
You can conserve.
That's see, I was thinking about giving my wife a break. Man. And by the way, I am not a sexist.
Water, man. You need to conserve it.
I am more than willing to do laundry.
The water.
But my wife won't let me near.
Don't use soap. Soap is the devil.
Yes. Soap is Illuminati. If you use soap, you're part of the Illuminati.
The chemistry industry runs the world. The chemicals you rub on your body, they dictate who you become.
That's why I wash my body entirely with wheat. With dry wheat, I
use
dry
sand.
wheat all over my body.
Sand is better, dude.
Sand is more hygienic.
Fine sand.
Yes.
Fine sand.
And you're not killing a plant.
And then you
plants are people too.
Bake the sand.
Plant lives matter.
You can bake the sand and then use it warm.
How are you going to bake the sand though?
You bake it in the oven.
Well, what do you use to heat that oven? What do you dirty
Solar
little
energy. This has
seriously,
gone on too long.
You dirty little
Dude, I got into this
capitalist pig, man.
Dude, I got into this zone. I was becoming a progressive.
You were becoming that guy.
I was. Oh my god.
Like a part of you
I was
was
starting
like
to
in the
believe
back
it.
of your mind. A part of you was like, where can I get sand?
Hey, maybe the chemistry industry is controlling our minds
Yeah,
with soap.
Exactly.
What is in the soap anyway?
I think
And
it's
cologne, air fresheners. Dude, I'm onto something.
nanobots. They put nanobots and all that stuff. Nanobots get in your mind.
And you rub it all over your body.
Yeah, you rub it all
Body
over your
wash,
body and then, yeah,
shampoo.
Yeah. I got Irish Spring body wash upstairs.
Dude,
I'm layered with nanobots.
conditioner.
Oh, you use conditioner?
Conditioner.
Wait, do you use conditioner on your hair?
Only my pubes. It softens them up.
Oh, good.
It straightens it. I don't like how they curl sometimes.
Oh,
Why are you turning red?
I'm feeling very weak at the moment.
So much for the inaugural.
Show's yours. Show's yours.
Is your throat drying again?
No, it's my mind is drying actually. It's dribbling.
So did we?
I think we touched on all the key points here.
We did.
We
Turning
pubes,
underwear
underwear,
inside out.
hotness.
You
Dude
only
hotness,
brought
which is a little
hotness up. I
weird.
don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
Being assaulted in the park by some older kid.
yeah,
Yes.
being Rochambeau and
Did we-
Dimitri not knowing what Rochambeau was. That's very
Did we do a public service today?
I don't care.
Is this your outlet to express your inner angst?
This is, I'm actually, this is just part of the Illuminati plan. The cool thing is when you're part of the Illuminati and then you say that you're part of the Illuminati and people assume that you're joking. But
It distracts from it, yeah.
It distracts you. They'll never believe that you're part of the Illuminati. Of course, I'm
you-
not part of the Illuminati, but.
You were part of the Illuminati. I am part of the Nephilim.
Oh, yeah. The Bigfoot Nephilim.
Of course. Dude, down in
The
Georgia.
Bigfoot Nephilim
is it-
Club.
No, in the Carolinas, they have Bigfoot with horns. Nephilim. Yeah. They call him the Goat Man.
Really? Did you meet him? Does he smell?
He smells like goat.
Does he wash?
No,
Does he use soap? Does he turn his underwear inside and out?
I think he does.
Well,
Based on the smell, I would have to assume yes.
dude, the smell it doesn't bother you after a while. You get used to it.
Okay. Can we conclude this?
I think we can wrap this up.
Yeah,
so
because this is going in dark
so
places.
what we've touched upon is.
Are you going to recap?
I'm going to recap. Is that okay? Am I allowed to recap?
Wow.
Is it okay if I recap? Would you prefer that I do not recap? Are you anti recap?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
So
I see that.
So up yours.
We're gonna have a conflict here.
We are.
Yes.
You're going to have to go fetal and just deal with it.
I'm gonna have to light a stogie soon. That's.
Dude, you're going to have to make a beer run for
You hear that?
Going to have to make a beer run.
You hear that?
That's a nice.
Smell it.
Can you guys smell it? If anybody can smell it, by the way, please let me know. I will be thoroughly impressed.
I will taste it shortly.
So you're going to taste that
Do we
phallic symbol and just lock on
You
that.
are messed up. You can't just enjoy what it is.
Just lock on that.
Sometimes
there.
a cigar is just a cigar. Now, who
Is it?
said that?
Is it?
Who said that?
I don't know who said that.
Freud. How do you know Freud?
Freud.
I
I've heard of him.
What do you think, Dr. Freud? Don't you think a cigar is very phallic?
Yeah, Lucian Freud.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
So you mean Lucian Freud or Sigmund?
Sigmund, of course.
Yes. Well, don't ever do that voice again.
Why not?
Oh, gosh.
It is my Eastern, Austrian voice of like an old Austrian Nazi.
So I'm gonna move into the recap now. So we touched on
I'm trying to block the recap. I'm blocking it. Wait, now I'm turning Indian. I'm so sorry. I'm turning in.
You can't hold it. You can't hold it. It lapses.
It does.
Dude, you're racist. So you got a Democrat-led government in Massachusetts going after guns.
And by Democrat, he means progressive Marxist.
Yeah. You got a Republican-led government in Texas.
And by Republican, he means progressive neocon.
Progressive neocon, semi-Marxist sort of. Zip, yep, in the hive. Trying to create a special class for cops, giving them even more power over us, which is convenient because those are the guys that are going to go out and take our guns from us if and when the government decides to do that.
Did the brown shirts have special privileges?
Yeah, there were special gun ownership privileges.
For brown shirts?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
just wondering.
Just throwing that out there, just throwing that out there.
Just wondering.
Hey, if you were alive in if Greg Abbott was the governor of whatever in Germany in 1936, he'd be talking about the thin brown line, which kind of takes us back to the underwear. But so he was talking about the thin brown line, and we had two stories that show how the media goes along with the state narrative, in which the first instance where the judge is interjecting her political opinion into a case that bore no relevance to her political opinion, and all the media went lockstep and carried this unchallenged quote, and then you had NBC referring to no fly, no buy as modest gun sales reforms. So, folks, I think the bottom line here that you can get from this, and we're going to have other shows where we're going to actually hear, cool stuff. This is kind of a bummer beginning, really. But we're going to have victories. We're going to talk about how guns have won the day. So, the takeaway from this is we live in a world where it's always up to us, the power that we give to them. The state is a myth. It's only real in the minds of people that give it power. When those shop owners decide in Massachusetts, like Dimitri said, we're going to sell them anyway. You take away our licenses, we're still going to sell guns anyway. The state will, the myth of the state, the coercive enterprise, won't have a response to that type of power. But when they capitulate, when they give in, that's only the real power that they have. And I think we can end it here. You have any last closing remarks?
I do. My dog's breath smells like dog food.
That's true.
It does.
Yeah. My dog's breath smells... Well, never mind. I can't say that on air. It smells like a certain part of someone's anatomy that I know that's on this show right now. Now, yeah.
Does he lick himself there?
No, he licks. Yeah. Yes,
dude.
I think that's what he does.
Commenting on my dog's breath. Why do you have to make this gay all over?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about my dog's breath smells like your arm. I mean, what the heck are you thinking? You're so foul and vulgar. Unbelievable.
Dude, I take exception
Unbelievable the
foul.
Places that you took that.
Vulgar, yes. Foul, no. Foul is just a step too far.
Well, foul is just a step too far.
Vulgar, I would accept.
Okay. So on that note, we are going to do this show next week, and hopefully I will have some more bells and whistles ready by then. And Dimitri won't tap on the freaking microphone because bad audio is a hate crime. And I didn't say this at the beginning of the show. I'll say this at the end of the show. This show is covered by a BIPCOT no-gov license. That means that you are free to reuse this show any way, shape, or form that you so choose, so long as you don't work for or advocate for the government. For more information, go to bipcot.org.
You didn't even get the Simpsons reference. I'm sorry.
What Simpsons?
We have to go back to this.
Is it a terrible thing that I didn't get a
You
Simpsons? You didn't get a
Lisa
South Park
Simpson,
reference?
Lisa Simpson.
And you're going to call me out on not getting a
is
Simpsons
talking
reference?
to the cop's son. What was his name? I can't remember. And she said something.
Is Nelson the cop's son?
No. And she said something profound. No, not that guy. She says something profound, and he goes,
Ralph Wiggum.
Yes, Ralph Wiggum.
Yeah.
And he goes, my cat's breath smells like cat food.
I didn't get that reference.
Yeah, because you were making a profound statement, and I said, my dog's breath smells like dog food.
Well, that's probably what it was. I was in a, thinking and thoughtful mode.
And then you had to take it to licking anatomy.
Your arm. That's
you
it.
are messed up.
What's so bad about your arm?
That dude did to you by kicking you in the nards. Man.
He did kick me in the Goonies.
In the nards.
He kicked me in the Goonies. It was difficult. It was traumatizing.
Well, wow. Just out of the blue.
Just
he was going to rob your ass. You know that, right?
Is that what he was going to do? Is that all he was going to do?
Yeah.
Who knows? But he set me up for a long time. And then...
Did you ever find him? Did you ever shank him?
I was 9 or 10.
Dude, at 9 or 10, I had marks on my bed. Like, notches cut out.
You had notches on your bed?
Cut, yep.
You cut notches on your bed?
Yeah, my BB gun was
all the time
deadly.
You won at marbles? Every time you won at marbles, you done a notch?
My BB gun.
Hardcore. Winner at marbles. What's the big marble called? I can't remember what that's called.
There was a cat's eye. There was all sorts of stuff.
Knocker or whatever the heck is. I think the show is over, folks.
Oh, it was over. It was over a long time ago. We're just rambling on. I am looking at the cigar, and it's waiting to be smoked. Yeah. It is tapping the microphone. By the way, your microphone smells funny.
It smells like microphone.
Yeah, what is that?
It's microphone. It's just good old-fashioned microphone.
Why haven't you ended the show already? Myself. Dude, this is horrible.
So we're going to go ahead and end the show. This is Paul Gordon, and I'm here with the annoying, probably the last show that he's going to be on.
Yay! Oh, my God. Thank God. It worked.
It worked!
Finally.
Yeah.
Cut loose.
And you have been listening to New Shooting Self-Defense, NSSD. We'll see you next week. Well, we'll see who we'll see next week. You might see Dimitri next week.
Special guest. Dude, I got some guys who'd like to talk to you.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
I bet you do. And we'll see you next week. Adios.
Amigos.
Good night. And we haven't come up with a clever call-off sign. We'll work on that. We'll work on our slogans and all that stuff and get stuff down. Good night, everybody.
Hasta calo.